Welcome to this Redbrick webinar. Today's webinar is speeding up the conveyancing process. This webinar is in partnership with Conveyancing Data Services, one of Redbrick's fully integrated partners. What we're going to be covering today is a series of time-saving steps from initial instruction and quoting all the way through the conveyancing process to post-completion. There are a couple of large time savers and a lot of small time savers, but when we put all of this together, there's roughly a 2 to 3 hour time saving per matter when using Redbrick for your conveyancing. Redbrick has been around for the last 20 years, delivering easy to use case management for all sizes of law firms. What I'm going to be starting on today is the quoting process. This is one of the tools delivered from Conveyancing Data Services, allowing you to quote your client and capture initial information in under a minute. Probably under 30 seconds actually, but with my talking it'll be roughly a minute, giving most law firms a 10-15 minute time saving immediately on all work you're quoting for. That doesn't even count the work that you don't win. So what I have on screen is a web browser that allows me to quote the client instantly for any type of conveyancing work. All of your cost tables are set up in the background and the data capture you want. On screen I've already put in a postcode of NN15QJ. That will bring up a number of properties at that postcode. I'm going to pick number 50, put in a property value. If it's first time buyer, freehold or leasehold, second home, obviously all of these will determine the price at the end. I simply hit purchase quote and it asks me some additional questions that again are going to dictate the outcome of this quote to your client. I won't take any of those, I'll bypass them. And in a couple of seconds, all of your fees, your cost tables, your disbursements have all brought through on screen. This tool could be used in-house for yourself or a secretary if they're quoting clients that ring up. It can be given to estate agents, referrers, and allow them to quote instantly with all your fees and instruct you electronically. All I need to do is hit this big red box here, instruct an email, and that will ask for some additional information. And I'm going to put in some information. Again, I can tick some additional boxes to add another applicant, custom message, send it as a PDF. From here I can email it to the client, or if they're happy with the price you've discussed on phone, we can just hit instruct. And that's it done. A 15-20 minute process in less than a minute. The information has now been sent to the client. They've got their quote on their phone, they can open it. It's going to be sent to the solicitor in-house. Again, in a second, my emails will pop up in the bottom right corner, letting me know I have a new instruction. And I'm now going to go to Redbrick Case Management and open that at the bottom of the screen. The email's just come in, letting me know I've been instructed. But most importantly, the data has arrived in Redbrick. So I can see the small box in the middle of the screen, a new instruction has arrived. The data has arrived, so Martin's information, the address, the purchase price, all the quoting information we discussed on the phone is all absorbed into Redbrick. From here, I simply need to hit Open New Instruction. That will just take me through a small wizard to conflict check the client, duplicate check, and finally make sure I'm not opposing myself, and then it will create the live client and matter within my system without me having to even touch the keyboard. It's all been mouse work. And again, I don't know how long it takes you to set up a client and matter in your system. It's certainly more than a 10-minute process for most people I discuss this with. We've immediately saved you that because the data has arrived. I'm now going to focus on a case that I've got open in the background, so I'll shut this electronic instruction window down. In the background, Redbrick is laid out like all Microsoft products to keep it as easy to use as possible and allow your users really to enjoy the system. Across the top toolbar we have a number of icons and we'll naturally click through some of those in a second. On the right hand side I have a preview panel of the last client I was working on. So my client in the top left is James Cunningham. We can see fee earner, partner, and it's an active purchase for number 10 Lighton Grove in Liverpool for 130,000. They're just summaries. Behind there is more information. I can open a dedicated window. The main area of the screen is my workflow, Don't be frightened by the word workflow. Just a task list, very similar to what's on the inside of your paper files. A series of steps from file opening to post completion. The difference being in Redbrick is it gives you a central to-do list over all your matters and just helps drive efficiency internally and give a focus on what needs to be done on each day. This workflow is at the very beginning. What Redbrick will do is give you a really nice courting process to engage with the client and give them a really good service, even if they've not instructed you yet. So straight away, my first step here is to give the client or a prospective client portal access. So a branded secure portal where you've decided what case steps they can see, you've shared key documents with them, and they can share documents back with you. So by doing that, I click the box, small window is going to pop open. All I need to do is either email, open in Word, or send as a PDF. In this example, I'm just going to show you the Outlook integration straight away. This will open my local version of Outlook, pull together all the information that we need, and it should flash away at the bottom of the screen, ready to send to the client any second. So we've got an email to the client, the subject line filled out. Dear James Cunningham, thank you for calling ABC Law today. Obviously that'd be branded with your law firm. A link to the case tracking and how to register and the codes they need to use to register. Once they've registered, they'll have their own password, and every single time they log in, their phone will beep with a unique code to be able to access that data. So it's secure, it's two-factor authentication. So we can send that out. You'll notice now the workflow automatically turns green. It's got my initials next to it and the date that it was completed. So it's really easy visually for somebody else to jump into a file and see where we're up to. The next step is we're going to send the quote to the client. We've already done that online, so we won't need to do that in this example. But if you aren't using the quoting tool, you can do it straight from the workflow. I'm going to text the client thanking them for their call. So again, a couple of second process, and we've given them a really nice branded text message thanking them for calling and letting them know some of the benefits of working with your law firm. We can chase monies on account, we can do client care letters. I am going to do the client care letter workflow step because I want to show you something that saves a lot of law firms a big chunk of time. Redbrick has full Outlook integration, and what we mean by the full Outlook integration is we can convert PDFs, attach them, we save the email in and out to the history without you having to do anything. So on screen I have my document management, which is popped up as part of the workflow. It knows the client that we're writing to, it knows it client care. It's going to pull in a digital letterhead for me. It's going to attach it to an email and track that email. And what we're going to do from here is it's found the client care, but I could attach a whole number or a bundle of documents to go out in one go. Really important, at the bottom, we can now share this online with the client, and we can also request that it's signed and returned online directly back to me. No post, no time delays within the post, no cost of printing and stamps. Online, direct to the client and back to me once they've signed it. At the top, I'm going to click this button here, which will convert this email to a PDF. So we're going to merge the Word document, and the document's full of all sorts of different conditions. It's going to save that Word document to the history and then convert it to a PDF. It's going to then grab the PDF, open Outlook and put the PDF on the Outlook email, fill out the email for me with all the client's information and present it to me ready to send. It's typically an 8 or 9 step manual process for most people not using Redbrick, whereas we just do it in one click of a button. It does take 5 or 6 seconds to do this, but it's doing a whole lot of work for me. So there we go, the client's address, the reline, the attached client care as a PDF. We can also pull in some niceties within the email as well. And I've got something called a quote covering email, and that will just really sell our services, save the user typing out every single time, thank you for calling today, and we can send that straight out to the client. And again, that's now turned green, so we can visually see what's happening. On the right hand side, you'll notice there's a number of activities my system's letting me know has happened. So we have full land registry integration, and there's a whole load of returns from the land registry that I'm being notified from, so I don't have to log in with a username and password to the land reg and put all the information in and copy and paste the information over. One click of a mouse will request the information, and as you can see on the right hand side, the data's coming straight back into Redbrick, into the relevant matters that I'm associated to. So that's what these top ones are with the land registry symbols. I've also got 2 documents that have been returned from the client to me. So my client has uploaded identification back to me, and that'll be sitting in the history. So another huge time saver is all the third-party integrations that Redbrick has. So we've emailed the client with a PDF client care. We've also put it on the online portal and requested the client sign that document. I now have a text message that can go out to the client saying there's an important document waiting for you online, which is just here. So I've now texted the client saying, please log on and sign that document for me so we can get going. These are all templates that we build. They're completely customizable. Also, if we look at the workflow, you may have noticed that some of the steps are red and some are orange. Redbrick can design the system exactly how you want it to work. So we custom build every workflow. We put your precedents in, so you're not altering somebody else's precedents. These are your precedents. But the orange steps are automatically delegated to my secretary or a team of people to pick up on key dates as highlighted where my mouse is now. So this allows you again to save some time internally. Give the admin steps to secretaries, receptionists, assistants. The red steps are my steps. They're high value, high skilled steps, allowing me just to focus over all my matters on the important steps that I need to look at. When my secretary or assistant completes the orange steps, I'll automatically be notified. So I'm still solely responsible for the case from the beginning to the end of the process, but I'm overseeing some of the admin steps. Huge time saver in some of the law firms that we work with. So I've now texted the client and that's also gone out. I can chase monies on account via text and email as well, so I can just make sure that they know that they need to pay some monies on account. When the monies on account arrives in the system, we can mark it as received. What Rebecca from Conveyancing Data Services is going to come on to say shortly is this is why this step is now immediately available even in the file opening stage. So they recommend that you order those searches immediately, and she'll cover that with you shortly. You'll notice we've got fully integrated AML checks. So at one click of a button, it'll pop up. We're saying who are we going to check? And I'm going to say my client who's listed at the top. And I can do an AML check online to roughly 15-16 data companies and come back with a PDF report on this client. So all the information we hold on James, which was captured online, is displayed on screen. We've got the passport number, driving license number and NI number. With a click of a button, that will fire off and come back with a report within about 5 seconds actually, with a full PDF report on that client. I've only got 15 minutes, so I'll just close that window down and we'll move on to some of the other third-party integrations within the system. As we can see all the way through the workflow, my steps are now turning green. I'm really pushing this case forward as quick as I can. You'll notice steps like this one with a little symbol with the land registry. So that's going to request information from the land registry. These steps are going to write documents, various integrations with web services, further land registry integration. The biggest time saving is the final step of the land registry integration, which is submitting the final documents to the EDRS service, the online portal. One click of a button, that will submit all the key documents online using all your credentials directly to the land registry. Again, saving you a good 5, 10, 15 minutes of trying to pull all that information together. So workflows are great for saving you time, but all the third-party integrations will give you large amounts of time saving. Another massive time saver within Redbrick is at the top toolbar is our stamp duty returns. So with one click of a button, we grab the client information, the matter information, your law firm information. We open a dedicated window and on the left hand side are the pages of the of the stamp duty form. Where we see green ticks, we have filled those pages out for you. We've validated the data. You don't have to touch any of that information. I've just randomly picked a page, and you can see that's pre-populated, ready to go. From here, we can save this information. We can also print it out. If you do want to get your client to sign it, that is also okay. Both ways you can do within the Redbrick system. From here, at the bottom right corner, this submit button will only work when the system has validated all the data on all the pages and it's happy. So once we've hit that, it will submit the SDLT form, and the SDLT5 will flash away and return into the document history automatically for you. This should not be more than a 2-3 minute process on a standard stamp duty return. So if it's taking you longer than that, we haven't trained you properly. It's a really quick process. We should be saving you at least 15-20 minutes on every single SDLT return that you're doing. As I've been discussing, there's a lot of stuff going into the document history which I haven't actually showed you yet. So if I just go to this document button, this is the document history for James Cunningham's purchase. So everything that's gone on. So we can see various text messages that have gone out. We've got emails that have gone out. There's a preview panel at the bottom of the screen, so again saving you time having to open every single document. There is a email sitting in the history there with a PDF, so various others. Welcome to the portal email. All of this is just building up automatically for you without you even having to touch the screen. I'm just going to snooze that. It's just reminding me those documents are waiting to come back in the system for me. So if the client was to reply, that reply would also come straight back into the history without me having to touch the keyboard. It'd still be in your inbox and still as unread, but it would be building up the history in case anybody else is jumping in and out of the file and needs to see where you're up to. What I'm now going to do is just log in as the client. So I've now gone to a dedicated web page. This can be on your website where the client can click to track their case. As discussed at the beginning, they will have to register with a unique code, their surname, their email address and mobile number that all match your database before they can set up an account. I've already done all this and I've set myself a password. When I go to log on, it will ask me immediately for a code. And my phone will beep in a second and I'll just put a code in, which I've just got. So this is two-factor authentication just to get me to that data that's in the system. So the portal, this can have your logo on it. It's taken me to, let me just select the matter that we're on. So we might have multiple matters for the same client. It's giving me a summary. So what's changed since I last logged in? There's a client care letter waiting for me, and there's a document waiting for me as well. So there's a document been uploaded that I need to look at. When I look at the case tracking, we can see some milestones have started to be ticked off in green that have been done. Fantastic. I can track that. Saves me ringing my solicitor all the time and making you stop. So again, just trying to reduce inbound calls. Estate agents and referrers can have their own login where they can track all their cases, and again saving you more time stopping and speaking to those people. Just here on the documents button, this is where I have access to the documents that have been shared with me. So I can see on screen that my solicitor has sent me a client care, and you'll see a nice pen symbol at the side, so it needs signing, a welcome email and a title plan for the property have all been sent to me electronically. It could be 8 o'clock at night and my kids are in bed and I'm just having time to look at this. Below, content that I've shared with my solicitor. So I've sent my solicitor some ID back as well. So not only can I receive information, but I can send information back. I'm now going to sign that client care. I need to give my signature. I have already read it. So I'm just going to give my signature and save that. And that document is now marked as signed. So I've signed the document, returned it back to my solicitor, and that'll be flashing in their system ready for me. So that's the client portal. Share as much or as little as you like with the client. Reduce the postage lag between yourself and them, and then back to you, cutting down that process, speeding everything up for everybody. And you'll notice here, I've now got a signed document that's shared back automatically with my solicitor. So I'll come out of this and I'll click the Redbrick button again and go back into what we were looking at previously. I'm now back in Redbrick as a fee earner or a user within your firm. I'm looking at James Cunningham's purchase. I'm still in the document history and just looking at this client care letter where my mouse is moving just above the blue line. We can see the documents uploaded. We can see that it's available to the client. It's been viewed by the client, and the pen symbol will show that it's also been signed. So that signed document has come back into the system, and we do have a copy of the signature on record as well, so that's saved to the history. Flashing away at the bottom, there are 2 other documents waiting to be imported that the client sent us. So we've got a copy of their driving licence and passport from the portal directly to the matter. We can just import those, click of a button, import the second bit of ID. So 8 o'clock last night, Mr. Cunningham sent us his ID, and it's now sitting on file for us, sucked straight into the correct matter. Again, saving any scanning, waiting for the client to bring things in. It can all be done electronically directly to the matter, cutting down the process as much as we can. So what I'm going to do now is look at the searches, and I'll click the button, hand over to Rebecca, and she'll talk you through where you can save time on the search ordering process as well. On the top toolbar, I have a big search button. Click that button. It will ask me again, have you definitely got monies on account? Yes. It will then ask me, would I like to upload the plan? I can say yes. This takes me to the document history, and I can search down and find the title plan and select that document. Now it directs me to the CDS ordering platform. So now over to Rebecca to take over from this point.
Thank you, David. Firstly, I'd just like to echo David's point about ordering searches as soon as you receive money on account. I'm sure you're all aware of the huge delays we're facing due to the backlogs at the local authorities, some taking in excess of 40 working days to return searches. So the sooner the order is placed, the quicker we can return your reports. Now, as David mentioned, moving the search ordering task in line with receiving the money on account meant this process was actioned 6 days earlier in the transaction. So that's actually reducing your delayed searches by over a week. So definitely a well worth exercise. Back to the current screen. Now, I'm sure you'll all agree the ordering of searches is often an administrative burden, duplicating data entry and swapping between portals. Fortunately, the CDS integration removes any of this work. So as you can see, all of the matter information has been dragged through into the portal. You can see the file reference, all of the property details. It has also pre-populated your local authority and water board. And as David mentioned as well, the map has been dragged through for you as well. So you don't need to deal with any fussy mapping tools when you come through to the system. If you just check the information is correct and click to continue, on screen 2 is where you will choose your searches. Now, to draw your attention to the recommended searches, firstly, the system alerts you to any environmental and geological issues that can be identified at the property. Now, if you ignore these, they might become an issue further down the transaction, and this can then lead to further communication and potentially additional funds being requested, taking more time. My suggestion would be to ask for a slightly higher amount of funds on account to cover the cost of any recommended searches, and you can purchase these at the point of the initial order, which you're placing now. Typically, it's only talking an extra £30 anyway, because it's normally something like a mining report that might be recommended. To bring you down to this second section, which is going to be the most used section, is the CDS search packs. Now, as with most search providers, CDS offer the option to purchase search packs, which is just a frequently used bundle of reports. Now, I always stress to my clients at this point the importance of using a full environmental report, providing full reporting on each feature, for example, flooding. Far too many reports only offer you an alert, which means there's a risk of flooding to the property, and you therefore need to gain the client's agreement to purchase a subsequent report and then investigate the extent to the flooding risk. Now, if you purchase the full report at this point, it provides you all the information up front, and they actually often provide you solutions to the risk. So it's a quicker and a much cheaper solution. So if you hover over the pack, it actually shows you the content, so you always know what you're ordering. Now, once you've clicked the pack, which I'm just doing now, once you click the pack, what it does, our system, is it blanks out any duplicate orders. So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got an environmental report in here. It will blank out any other environmental reports to stop you from duplicating your order. If you did decide you wanted to order out with a search pack or any additional reports, you can scroll down the screen, and then you can see all the rest of the reports that are available in the market. If you click to continue, the third screen, the third and final screen, is your invoice. Now, there's a few things I would like to draw your attention to on this screen. Firstly, you can see the estimated turnaround time here of the reports. Most importantly is the local search, because I'm sure we'll all agree that's normally the most timely report. So if you hover over the blue eye and click on this, this gives you the estimated turnaround time at this council. What it does is it's based on the last 4 weeks of historical data from this council. And you can see here, Sefton, typically we actually get this information and complete the report in less than 1 working day. So thank you, David. We chose a good council there. So once the order has been placed, you'll then receive a notification with the definitive time of how long it will take. So sometimes, as we know with councils, they can take anything up to 40 working days. We'll give you the average at the point of order, but once the order's been placed, we'll then send you an email and say, this is when we absolutely expect your report to be returned. Now, this is actually a point when your account manager can become really very helpful. So let's say, for argument's sake, you were looking at a council that had a very delayed local authority report and it doesn't fall in line with your case. You can contact your account manager and we can look at whether a regulated search, an official search, whether the council offer an expedite option, whether they can prioritise, or even looking at the insurance options as well, just to make sure we can keep your transactions moving as quickly as possible for you. One of the benefits of actually using a CDS regulated report, because we employ all of our search agents, we have control over prioritising urgent cases for clients, as we have the ability to put them at the top of the list, as long as the council will allow us to do so. Now, if you need anything back quicker, you can just add it into your order notes at the bottom here. In fact, you can put anything that you want in here to alert us of any notes within the case. Basically, once you've checked the price, you're happy with everything, you can just click to place the order. And within a few seconds, you've ordered your searches. And I will pass back now to David, who will show you exactly what happens when the reports come back into Redbrick.
Back over to Redbrick. Looking at my workflow, we can now see highlighted in green there that the searches have been requested. Date stamp for today, done by myself. At the top toolbar, there's a big green tick next to the searches, so I can visually see that's been ordered as well. When those searches are returned, they will come directly back into the matter history for you and the system will flash. Just to give you an example, on the bottom right here, I have some searches for another matter that have been returned. If I click on that icon, it'll pop up to say Conveyancing Data Service have returned the personal search, the private water and the ground shore search have all been received and are ready to import directly into the history, or view them before you import them. So it's sucking that data directly back into the system for you from Conveyancing Data Services. In summary, Redbrick will save you anything from 2 to 3 hours if you have a current case management system. If you don't, if you're coming from a manual system, it could be a lot more. There are a lot of small items that we can save you on, but certainly the big items are electronic instructions. They don't have to be from quoting tools. We do integrate with a whole bunch of referral agents where we can suck that data in exactly the same. Getting the initial documents out to the client. All the email integration is a big time saver. Land registry, stamp duty, online signatures, sharing documents both ways with clients and agents, all the way through to the search ordering, returning of searches back into the system. And as I discussed before, this is a completely custom built system, exactly the way you want to work, from beginning of the process, from file opening to post completion, on all types of conveyancing work. So you get a dedicated consultant that will build this with you, and we'll release a couple of updates a year on Redbrick. Some of the new updates will also allow us to capture data from the clients and agents online to save them filling out like initial forms. So all of that's exciting new features that are coming out this year. If you'd like to know more about Redbrick, more about Conveyancing Data Services, please feel free to contact us afterwards. We'd love to show you the system in a bit more detail. Thank you very much for your time today.